Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Are you ready to slay another day? So are we. Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host, Sarah Humphrey. Sarah, how are you?
Sarah, good.
Oh, no.
Podcast fun.
Oh, God.
Buffy episode bad.
Yeah, real bad. Real bad. This was one of those things, Sarah, where as I was watching this episode, I'm like, I'm trying. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, because we've heard rumors of season 4 not being like everyone's favorite. We've gotten emails saying like, no, it's not that bad. It's just the big bad isn't blah, 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 blah. Right. This was the first time I felt this season like, oh, this is what people were talking about, because I wanted to like this episode, Sarah. I really did. Like, there are a few redeeming nuggets, but like, this is not either of our styles of humor. I would say is like the caveman bonk on the head, you know.
Jessica judgy.
Sure. I mean, listen, if this is people's like favorite episode, I have questions. But you know, whatever floats your boat. But like, I don't need to see Buffy be a caveman, you know? Like, it's just not what I want to do with my time.
I understand.
So are you only speaking in 2-word sentences? Because it's going to make this podcast very difficult.
Well, it was either that bit or I think I'm just going to go full. This is the best episode since Go Fish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Pick your bit, bitch.
I think I like the second bit more because it requires less work on my part to keep the podcast going.
Very, very, very fair. Yeah, so this I mean, like, I didn't like despise it. Like, it was like when I finished it, I literally said, this is the stupidest shit that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not boring. I would rather see the stupidest shit that I've ever seen in my life than something that is boring. So I was entertained. I thought it was silly beans. I thought it was pretty dumb. But I didn't like hate my life while I watched it. And I will say that Buffy's cavewoman hair, that like beach waves,
yeah,
that was great. So
I agree. I do agree. I thought her caveman hair was lovely. But like, there's so many things I don't like about this episode.
Yeah.
Number one being that we spend so much of our time still talking about Parker. Like, truly, just he's a fuck boy. He sucks. Let's all just move on. Namely, Buffy needs to just fuck JT the TA and move on, please.
Yeah, Buffy is down bad crying at the gym for Parker.
Why?
Well, because
like, does he have a magical dick? Like, truly.
I think so. Maybe that's what we're missing the component. Like,
her only comparison is Angel, which I guess was true love, but
they only had sex once,
and she fucked the soul out of him, so that's difficult.
This was the second time she's ever had sex, and maybe it was better, and maybe he does have a magical. Maybe he's a great kisser. Like, maybe there's like some things that we're just not thinking about.
Do you think he went like down on her or something?
Oh
no, you know what? I take it back. This guy is a selfish asshole. There's just 0% chance that's happening.
Yeah, I mean that's
right.
That's I was like in on it. I was like, oh, maybe that's what it was. I just think that he rocked her world, and I also think that it's not very often. Like, does Buffy really get rejected that often? Like, she kind of got rejected by Angel, but that was like very special circumstances. So I don't know. Like, I think that she was just like really into him. I think that she also was like kind of down on herself because the first time she slept with somebody, it was true love, or she perceived it that way. This was more casual, and I think that she said it this episode. She feels like a dirty slut. Like, she's not, but that's how she feels because she's never had casual sex with somebody before. So, and she wasn't anticipating the fact that he was just there for a good time. So I think that like this is sticking with her because she's never found herself in this situation. She's 18 years old. Like, you know, there's a lot of factors that go into
Yeah.
this. So, and on top of that, like there's I think that I think you said it best last week. I think this was you. Um I think that she's being very triggered by the fact that like men in her life leave her. So I think that if this happened to somebody else, like maybe like a Willow or like a Cordelia or whomever, it probably wouldn't be as like dramatic for them because they don't have that like initial wound of men
Mhm.
leaving her, which was um also like the cut was also like rehashed with Angel and then
Right.
rehashed again with Parker. So I think that I don't necessarily think that it's Parker that is like the ultimate thing that's like making her linger on this, but I think that it certainly is a factor. So I like you know
Yeah.
me, I always get very like armchair psychologist over here.
Yeah. I also wonder 'cause I think all that feels true, but I also wonder if her college life was going better
Mhm.
than it is, if she wouldn't be so fixated on this. You know,
Yes.
it feels like another thing that's just like in the column of shitty
Yeah.
things that are happening to her. And so she wants to wallow a little bit. And not only is she wallowing, which I find to be like perfectly acceptable. If you want to wallow, go ahead and wallow.
I
But
love
like
wallowing.
but the obsessiveness is where I draw the line. And I do think I may even be a little bit more blunt than Willow was. Because there are times when Buffy's like, well, maybe this is just what he does. And he's just like, he does want me, but he wants to like blah, 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 blah,
Ooh,
blah.
yeah, yeah,
And it
yeah.
was like, girl, get a
Well, okay, so, like,
grip.
this is the thing, like, I think that it's very relatable to be the friend that when they're going through some well, I mean, it depends, but I see myself being, like, rehashing it over and over and over again, thinking about these different scenarios and, like, absolutely, like, driving people up the wall, like, do you think that he's thinking about this? Like, do you think that what do you think that he actually likes me? Like, do you think that
Mhm.
and I think like if you and I were in this situation, like I would definitely be the Buffy and you would be the Willow, where it's
Yeah.
just like, can you just shut the fuck up? Especially because the moments are just like such like a fleeting in time thing. But
Yeah.
it's sometimes like when you just have those like little moments, it's like what you hold on to as like your special little nugget of a memory and you're just like shut the fuck up like just please but Buffy's definitely trying to think of like every wish thing on how to justify why this man did
Yeah.
what he did
And I
and
like that the episode gave us like no qualms. We know who Parker is. The show isn't afraid to be like, yo, yeah, he is a fuckboy. Like he is an asshole. Like he has this like hit it and quit it mentality, which is again fine. Like I'm not trying to poo-poo on sexual liberties. But hey, maybe tell that to the person that you're like seeing or gonna have sex with because
Mhm.
Buffy certainly wasn't aware. I feel like he almost like gaslit her into thinking like, "Oh, didn't you want something casual? Like I thought we both agreed on that." And it was like, "No, you definitely never had that conversation." I think Sarah in the modern times, if I can as someone who has been married for a while and hasn't dated in a long time, I do feel like people are a little bit more open and forthright about like, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for." Or like if they're on dating apps, right? Like usually there is a box you can check of like, this is what I'm looking for. But
Yeah.
Parker in this day and age that we're watching the show in the 90s, Parker is like a giant D-bag. And I like that the show showed us that through Willow. And I loved that
Yeah.
they didn't do the thing that I was very nervous of when the scene first started between Willow and Parker of like, oh no, like is Willow falling for his trap? I was so happy that they did not fall into that whole shtick trap trope thing.
Yeah, I thought that that was really well done and funny how how that scene was set up, because I don't think that I was like fully buying that Willow was taking the Parker pill, or that
Yeah.
Parker was necessarily like intending to fully come on to her. But I like how the show like tricked us into that situation. And I love that Willow did like a bait and switch on him. Like that was
Yes.
great.
Because she
And
is intelligent, right? And
Oh,
like, it's not just that she's really intelligent, but she loves Oz. And I feel like, as we talked about how much I hate the Xander and Willow stuff, I
Mhm.
do feel like she learned her lesson. So I don't think that she would just so quickly be like, who's Oz? On to the next. You know, that's just not who Willow is.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really think that Willow, I think Willow hopefully learned her lesson, but it's also interesting seeing Willow being on the flip side of jealousy,
Yes.
because I feel as
Yeah.
though like this is such an interesting situation what's going on. And like tell me if I'm wrong, Jessica, because like we've seen Oz see this like girl singer band member before.
This is the same woman who
Yeah.
I had clocked as possibly being a fellow werewolf. I felt like there was a little bit of like a spidey sense, like a werewolf sense sort of thing between them. I feel like this episode only furthered that theory for me, because when this woman, whose name I don't know because it doesn't matter yet, uh when she comes on stage, it is almost like something comes over Oz. Like it is
Mm,
intuition, it is like instinct, like primal instinct.
yeah.
And so I really in my bones feel like she is a werewolf, and that is the connection between them. It isn't necessarily like attraction in the way that Oz is attracted to Willow. I think it's more like pheromone based.
It felt very like imprinted. It seemed as though like how
Yeah.
I read it was I've read the Werewolf Bible, aka New Moon, and
I was like, excuse me?
and and that like one chapter, or those one chapters where like the whole book was through Jacob's point of view.
Oh God,
What
yeah.
was in like the last one? I don't know. Essentially, I know about imprinting, and sometimes it
Mhm.
happens when you least expect it. Like sometimes it's like a normal guy that you meet on the reservation, and then sometimes it's your ex-girlfriend and your worst enemy's 0-year-old daughter. And you can't help it. Like it's just facts. And even though you're like, I love this person, like how he loves Willow. He loves Willow. When you get imprinted, it's like it's a done deal. Like you
Yeah,
got
it's not grooming if it's imprinting.
it's not even your
Basically,
fault.
werewolf law.
It's not grooming if it's imprinting. Yeah, that's part of the Bible as
That
well.
has to be a part of the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like I mean that's how I mean, and once again, like I'm so sorry that like my only like knowledge of supernatural is Twilight, but
I think it makes this podcast better, if I'm being
you
honest.
got to understand, like I was like 18 years old when those books
You
came
were
out.
prime target.
I was prime target. It was like right after like the height of like the Harry Potter world.
Everyone
like,
was looking for the
that was
next Harry Potter.
exactly, that was the next big book series. I rented out those books like I was the National Library, because
Oh,
I
you mean you had a copy and you rented them to others?
always I was
Yes.
I
This
was
is
like,
the early edition of Sarah's Netflix.
yeah, I was a distributor of that book. So
Did you make people sign a log and like
no. But I mean that and 50 Shades of Grey. I like was renting out that book as well.
I still have never read 50 Shades of Grey, and truly I don't
Well,
need to.
you know, 50 Shades of Grey was originally a Twilight fanfic.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I actually
really?
didn't know that. No. Well, here's the let me tell you my history with Twilight, because I feel
Yeah.
like it's a little bit interesting in terms of when it arrived on my so it was one of those things where everyone was talking about it. You know how it was. Like the hype was so high for it.
Yeah.
I am trying to recall if I know I saw the second film in theaters with my best friend at the time because she really wanted to go. It was for her birthday. So I went with her, even though I had never seen the first one. I really didn't have any interest in it.
You're very kind. Yeah.
She was crying during a moment that I truly don't know. I don't know what moment it was. She very water sign, Sarah. Like this, my best friend at the time was very much a water sign. So she was crying in the theater, as was, I think, another one of her friends. There were 3 of us that were there. And I was laughing,
Yeah,
not loudly, but I was like, this is ridiculous. But and as for the books, I know I read the books, and I know I read them like after they were all out. I wasn't like, it wasn't the Harry Potter situation where we were like waiting for the next book. I got to it late, as I do most things. And I was like, yeah, I understand why people like this, right? Like the world building is fun. Like it's a fun little story. Everyone loves when you're able to like pick a side in a love triangle, right? Like this is just what teens love to do. But even when I was reading it, I was like, but this is also kind of trash, right? Like we can all admit it's kind of trash.
Oh, yeah. You know? I mean, like, I think like it was definitely absolutely trash. So without a doubt.
And again, everyone's allowed to like, in my opinion, like reading can serve many purposes, one of which is entertainment. And so like, if you're reading to be entertained, go forth, please, by all means.
Go forth and forks.
Go forth and forks. Yes. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it makes me kind of sad, Sarah. Here's the thing. I was very anti Willow and Oz getting back together. As much as I did love Waz originally. Like my fandom of Waz has gone from I love Waz, I can't wait for them to get together, to Willow done fucked up and I hope Oz makes her pay for it. And then now I'm just getting back on the Waz train, right? Like toot toot, I'm ready to go because Oz is such a great boyfriend. But now I'm a little scared.
Well, Oz will be a great boyfriend to his new girlfriend that he imprinted on. And they will live happily ever after. I think that you can't stop the train from moving. Once the train leaves the station, then I think like it's just fate. Like sometimes, I don't know. I have a question for you. Okay, you're never going to answer this. Okay. If somebody comes up to you, I don't know who they are. They're just like a person.
This is a random person I've never met before.
Yeah, but they're like, it's like an oracle. Like, you know that they're legit. And they're like,
so an oracle who I know for a fact is real and not a scam artist. Okay.
Yeah. You know for a fact. Okay. And they go, Jessica, I'm the oracle.
Do they sound like that?
Yes. And they go, I can show you and bring you to the person in this galaxy that you are a perfect match with.
Right.
But you're married. What would you do? Would you leave your husband?
No, I would say I'm happy the way I am.
But the oracle is saying like this person is literally supposed to be your person.
Yeah, but I don't care what the oracle says.
But he knows. He knows.
But I know that I'm happy the way things are
like,
now.
You would be happier with this rando that you don't know.
Good for me, I guess.
Perfect match.
This is like the same idea of like if you could figure out like when you were gonna die, right? Like I just don't want to know.
Yeah, that's the measure, the book that
The measure.
I told you about, and then like 5-6 months later, you're like,
I told you about it.
I was like,
yeah. Did I tell you I got my mom to read it?
No,
I got my mom to read it. She liked it.
Would she open the box?
No. We both agreed we wouldn't open the box.
I would open the box.
You can't open the box.
Yeah. So
what about you? What would you do? What would you do if some oracle came up and said, Sarah, just like that?
No, I mean, honestly, like, I love my life the way it is. So
that's what I'm saying. Listen, we've talked about this so many times, definitely on the podcast, about like the idea of soulmates and kind of all of that stuff. There's more than one person for everybody. Like you can get along with, you can love a lot of people. But I don't think that means you should just like drop everything and go chasing something else. Like there's always going to be problems you're going to have to navigate in any relationship, even if someone is your perfect match, soulmate, whatever. Like,
but what happens if you imprint it on this person? The Oracle,
yeah.
like, okay, fine, I'll leave you alone then. But then he like comes
He
back
sends the person to me and I
and he
imprint
like
on them.
brings the person back, and then you imprint on him, and then you're like, wait, I'm like kind of obsessed with him.
Is
but
there
I
a
still
mutual
love Will.
imprinting, or am I the only one imprinting?
I don't know. The Werewolf Bible's not very specific about
I
that.
do think Will would fight them. He has a Scorpio Venus. Like, we haven't talked about this in a while, but let's not
Yeah.
forget he has a Scorpio Venus. He would fight a
Will
bitch.
fight- Oh, so like would Will kill him?
Let me. Hold on, he's sitting over here. I'm gonna
Right
ask him because
here.
he's
This
there. I have a
stupidest
question
thing.
for you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
stupid.
Let's pretend there's an oracle, and I know for sure that he actually is legit. And he comes up to me and he says, I know you're married, but I have a soulmate for you. And then he brings the soulmate to me. Would you fight the soulmate? He said yes.
Okay, well,
Appreciate that.
there you go.
He just said, I've been in a fight.
I've been in a fight. Who you fighting? Who you fighting?
I feel like I've heard of this fight before. Didn't you just deck some kid in the face once?
In high school?
Okay. No. He was definitely younger than high school. It was younger than high school.
No, it was college.
It was college? It was college.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was at a house party, right?
Oh,
After the house party. After the house party, he punched a
fighting
guy
at
in the
the
face.
frat. He's fighting at the frats. He's like,
So there you go.
boy, bad. I see boy.
Yeah, boy's
Beer.
bad. Yeah, he was probably drinking beer. Were
Punch
you
him in the
drinking beer?
face.
He goes nodding. Yes, he was
Yeah.
definitely drinking beer. Can I also say, not to sideline the conversation and actually talk about Buffy, but the fact that Buffy loved beer was
Ew.
one of the most ridiculous plot lines in this episode about like her turning into a caveman.
Catch me automatically being unrelated to like finding Buffy unrelatable.
Yeah, no one likes beer. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay it out for
so too.
people. Beer is what college people drink because it's cheap and you can get drunk. But like, do people actually enjoy the taste of beer? I've heard, Sarah, that it's like, oh, it's an acquired taste. I've never acquired a taste for beer in my 30 plus years of living.
I do think that people like beer, but they probably live in red states. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I do think that people like them.
I mean, my dad likes beer, but it's just a weird thing to me that people enjoy the taste of beer because it's so
pretty gross. I've never found one that I like, actually. But I am like pretty picky. I don't like beer. Beer bad. Don't like ciders. I don't really like seltzers.
I do love cider and seltzer.
I like red wine and I like champagne
margaritas.
And I like especially margaritas is what I like.
Love a margarita.
So I do. So all right. So you're sending away the Oracle and
I'm sending away the Oracle. I do think we're gonna get more with Oz and this werewolf woman. Now, I wanted to ask you how you felt about Willow's reaction because she is notably very jealous and like instantly jealous, right? Like she can almost sense the imprinting that's happening.
Well, maybe because like she's like witchy. She knows she's very in tune with Oz. I think like like be jealous. If I mean like I'm kind of like Will. Like if I found out that Adam was presented with a soulmate, I like would burn the entire world down.
Totally reasonable reaction. Yes.
I would burn our house down. I would burn the block down. I would burn the schools down. I would burn everything down. Definitely kill this girl.
Watch out. Adam's potential soulmate.
Stop it.
Sarah will kill you.
I will kill you. But yeah, I do like that she showed a little jealousy, but also, you know, like you can't stop the train. You can't stop the motion of the ocean and the something. You know Hairspray?
You can't stop the beat. Yeah, I know that song.
Stop the beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think I did appreciate that even though she was really like going through it, you know, like she's starting to feel some sort of way. I like that she still was able to like rally and tell off Parker for Buffy. What I didn't like was how awkward things got between Willow and Oz. It almost felt like Willow's move was to back off of Oz before he could leave her because he invited her to like this whole band practice thing. And knowing that this woman would be there, Willow was like, oh no, I'm okay. And they leave things like very awkwardly. And in my opinion, and I'm not saying, again, I'm not the jealous type, so I'm not going to be like, staring daggers at this like potential werewolf woman. But like, there's no reason to back off of Oz when he literally is inviting you. Like, it's not like he's trying to get alone time with this woman.
Not yet, but by letting him go off and drool all over her like a fucking dog, you're laying that opportunity open. I think that she's trying to be a cool girl, and we have learned that when you're a cool girl, your needs are not met.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a cool girl. Nobody wins if you're just trying to be a cool girl.
I mean, I've never been cool a day in my life, so this is fine by me.
Yeah. So I think like I foresee an issue. Like I don't know what's going to come of this, but it doesn't seem very good.
Right.
And I do read the awkwardness that you see. It is definitely, if you are a Waz shipper, this is definitely things to be concerned about.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So like the odds that she's a werewolf are like 99 out of 100, right? Like
I think I'm at like the 95% she's a werewolf.
because
if
what
she's
else?
not a werewolf, like she's certainly supernatural in some way.
Okay, what do werewolves like?
To eat people
Mm,
when they're werewolves.
that's what they like. Do they like the moon?
I feel like they resent the moon.
They resent the moon. What do you think that if I Google what do werewolves like? I Googled last time we were on this podcast how to cure a werewolf, and like my Google probably thinks that I think
You're housing a werewolf.
what do werewolves like? Because
What
they
does
like
Google say?
raw meat, disgusting. They like to be in packs. Oz does not really have a pack. That's true.
She's gonna become his pet. What if the entire band are werewolves?
Oh, that could be his new pack. And also,
And they all are musicians. That's what werewolves like, is music.
yeah. Reddit. Somebody on Reddit said, "Why are werewolves so attractive?"
Oh,
This is werewolf Reddit.
Oh, I think that person needs to go to therapy.
No. This is I'm on werewolf Reddit right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what's happening. I don't belong here.
Okay.
I'm lost and I need to back away.
Let's shift the conversation to talk about another character, Xander. He finally has a job, or maybe he had a job, I guess, working with Giles, but that was only part-time. So now he has a second part-time job where he got a fake ID in order to work at a bar. Which I suppose he's getting paid under the table, because if he's not, I have questions about what happened when they ran his social security information.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I think that this is actually a very good job for Xander, strictly because he is like pretty talkative. Sometimes he is friendly, and I think that he can serve drinks. I'm trying to remember if I know if you work at a restaurant, you can be 18 and serve alcohol.
But he's a full-on bartender.
Yeah, I think that you do have to be 21 to be a bartender.
Yeah, because and I don't understand the laws either, because you can't scan, like if you work at a grocery store, you can't check out alcohol. Like you have to have someone who's 21 come over and do it. In the States, this is
bartender. Okay.
Obviously.
Let's see. Okay, yeah. Well, according to now, you had to be 21. If you lived in Arizona, you only had to be 18.
Oh, wow. Look at you, Arizona.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. And then it depends on Iowa. You only have to be 16.
Woo! Iowa just living life on the edge over there.
I'm sorry. That's to serve. I lied.
Oh. So Xander's working at a bar now, but the problem is he, for some reason, this like college-y type of bar in Sunnydale, like has a lot of like pretentious assholes at it.
Well, they're frat boys, and we all know that frat boys, there's like a kind of couple of stereotypes with frat boys. Either they're like a partier, and they're like, kind of like a la Greek, you're either a Cappy or an Evan. That's what you need to know.
Can you explain this for listeners that haven't done Greek?
Okay, so Greek is my non-ironic like favorite show. Like I actually think
more than
that,
Pretty Little Liars.
yeah, like I do
Okay.
think that I like Pretty Little Liars. Oh, well, no, I do love Pretty Little Liars, but no, I think I like Greek more than Pretty Little Liars because
Okay.
we all whatever, it doesn't matter. So okay, there's like competing fraternities. There are the Kappa Taus and the Omega Chi's, and the
Okay.
Omega Chi's are like uber rich. Like they're the fraternity boys that you see, and they're like in the blazer jackets,
Yes.
and they're like pretty pretentious, and they're like richy rich. They're like very preppy. That's like these boys in that we see, like the ones that like kind of like made fun of Xander and told him that like their economic status is not the same. And then there's like the Cappies, and the Cappies are Cappy is like a partier. He has like very little ambition. He has like that typical early 2000s like sweepy hair,
floppy hair, the Jim Halpert, if you will.
Sure, even floppier, if you will. And he is like pretty unmotivated. He's a partier. He like drinks beer all day. So it's like pretty much he's a caveman. Just so it's like it's pretty much the before and the after of what we see in this episode.
Yeah.
We have the preppy boys, but they are drinking beer. And they do party, but they're like preppy parties. And then they drink the beer, and then they become a caveman. So that is what's happening. Xander is getting bullied by these like preppy frat boys that think that he's poor, which he is, because Xander's kind of like a townie. And
the biggest problem is, where the fuck is Anya this episode?
Oh, baby girl, we cannot have
as
Anya
a lasagna shipper. I need more Anya in my life.
She can't be in every episode because we can't pay her for a full-time salary. She has to be a guest star.
Sad.
We only have so many leads.
Yeah.
So
instead we were stuck with freaking frat boys becoming cavemen and dragging Buffy into their freaking hell pit. And apparently all of this is because the guy who like owns the pub or operates the pub is like, you know what I'm going to do in the back room? Make some weird ass concoction that turns kids into cavemen.
He did not make it. He said his brother-in-law is a warlock.
Right. Sorry, I apologize. Now I forgot warlocks are now canon. Yes.
Yeah. His brother-in-law is a warlock, and this is like payback because college kids are douchey. But you know what? If you hate douchey college kids, do not open up a bar in a college town.
Thank you. I don't understand what this man expected. Truly, like, you own and operate a pub in a college town. What kind of clientele did you think you would be getting?
Only respectable people,
and
of course.
How this also just feels like such an idiotic idea in terms of your own business, because if these people turn into cavemen in your pub, they're gonna fucking destroy it, you idiot. This makes no sense to do, which is like not even my biggest problem with the storyline. Like, it's just stupid. But the biggest problem with the storyline is I don't think this kind of stuff is funny. Like, when they're all just like, ooh, ooh, and they like talk in like 2-word phrases, like beer bad. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. So basically, this beer that they're consuming, a specific beer, gradually turns these people, these college students, including Kumar, from
Harold and Kumar. Yeah.
They turn them into cavemen. Buffy, who's like moping, gets invited to hang out with these boys before they turn into cavemen, because she's like too pretty to be sad, stuff like that. And she drinks the beer. She turns into a cave woman. Her behavior becomes weirder and weirder. Like, first we see her steal a sandwich from a rando. We see
in class she just takes a woman's sandwich.
Yeah, you would never tolerate that.
I would smack a person. That's when I would get into a fight. You take my sandwich out of my hands? Absolutely not.
Because at first it just seems like she's like really, really hungover, and then like the hair gets wavier and wavier, and then ultimately Xander and Giles walk in, and she has like cave paintings on her wall, and she's like, Parker bad.
Yeah.
And has it like X'd out. She also says that Xander smells good. Blah blah blah. She runs around. It's a bunch of silliness.
It's a
And
bunch of nonsense. Like there's a big
nonsense.
fire. Buffy ends up saving Parker's life, but she bonks him on the head twice, which honestly deserved, even though he probably has a concussion.
Yeah, and I think it's just like the bartender said that it is going to wear off in 24 hours. The issue is the damage that these people are causing.
Yeah. Sue this motherfucker. There's
Yeah.
so much damage to this place. And like they could have killed somebody, truly.
They truly could have.
So stupid.
I don't know. Did the frat boys they got arrested? Because I remember at the end they were like being carted off in a cop car and Buffy was like banging on the window.
Yeah.
So it's an unfortunate situation, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it definitely was like pretty stupid.
Yeah.
The whole thing. But
yeah, I wasn't into it. Not for me.
Not for you. It was fine. Like I don't think it was like it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but it wasn't the worst thing that I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think it was my least favorite episode, but it's like definitely down there. Like maybe second least favorite. Like it was really bad.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the hyena one was worse. The
The
pack
pack. I
was
fucking hate
10
the
times
pack.
worse.
Yeah, I
I
hated the
don't
pack.
I mean, I don't even remember what happened in Goldfish, except for the fact that it was the best episode that I've ever seen in my life.
I know you hated the episode with the like creepy like brains or something or eggs or there was remember that one?
Oh, I hated the eggs. I hated that because
so that one was
bugs,
bad too.
swarms. I don't like
but
swarms. So this was actually not the worst episode that I've seen of Buffy thus far, but it was just dumb. But you know what was not dumb?
the Angel episode.
The Angel episode. I would give so many flowers to that Angel episode. I really liked it a lot, actually.
Yes, season 1, episode 5. It's Room with a View, even though it's spelled real fucked up and weird. It's like RM and then the W/A and then VU. Who cares?
Yeah.
The point is that it was basically a Cordy episode, which
it was great.
I loved.
It was great. I loved this. So it was so good. I really liked all of it. I really liked the twist. The multiple twists. I thought it was really good. So Cordy hates her apartment because there's roaches, which I would die.
Ooh, at first I thought they were like fake. Like I thought it was a fake out, like that it was going to be some sort of that was going to be like the supernatural thing. But no, that's for realsies. With Doyle's help, she's able to get into an apartment for like really cheap right away, and it was a really nice apartment, which obviously comes with a twist of like, oh, it's fucking haunted. And so I love because Cordelia has truly just been like beaten down at this point. Like we know she used to be rich. Now she's a poor and she's been a poor for a while. And that doesn't seem to be getting any better anytime soon. So she's really just been beat down. And I liked to get to see her kind of dealing with that and trying to find like some inner strength. And then finally at the end, like finding her voice again and being able to like fight back.
She was like, I am Cordelia and I am the baddest bitch this side of Sunnydale.
Yeah.
And she really showed that ghost switch. So yeah.
She did. And I thought it was so fun that, and I hope this is, and I think you too, I hope this is a running thing now where she has this like ghost boyfriend roommate.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So basically we get introduced to the mom ghost, and the mom ghost is evil and mean, and she really haunts Cordelia because
her son was going to move out and move in with like his girlfriend, and the mom did not approve of the girlfriend because I don't know, she thought she was like a whore. I don't know.
Yeah. So everybody thought that the son killed the mom, but in reality, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but in reality, the mom killed the son by I'm sorry, I'm so excited. By putting him in the wall and like,
encasing him in a wall. That is a slow, torturous death.
That is wild.
You're slowly running out of air in the walls.
Yeah. She like plastered him in,
and then she died. Like literally the minute she was done.
She had like a heart attack right after.
Which then why did they think that the son killed her?
I don't know, but also because maybe the son was missing and they're like, he must have killed her and
With
then
some sort
ran
of
away.
poison that doesn't like show up on a
Well, no,
what's it
they
called?
knew that she died of a heart attack. They said that. But I guess
So
they
no,
thought
but
that
I'm
they'd
saying like you
given
could use something to give someone a heart attack. Like you could inject them with something to trigger a heart attack. You
but
know
they
what I
didn't
mean?
know where the son was. So I think that
No.
they thought like he ran away and escaped. So
Yeah.
I
But I
guess
liked the twist. I thought it was really fun, and I liked that they
yeah.
had hinted at it being the wall the entire time because we see the,
Mhm.
like, face come
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah.
then, like, Cordelia immediately is like, "I want that wall gone, blah, blah, blah," and then
Yeah.
when she finally smashes it down and they find the, like, skeleton in
Skeleton.
there,
Yeah.
that was so fun, and I loved the very end when she's, like, yelling at him, like, she's just
Yeah.
like, "No, that's mine, put it
Yeah.
back."
So Dennis now lives there, and Dennis is the friendly ghost, just like Casper, but a little less pervy.
Definitely less pervy than Casper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna move the coke, like I'm going to like play around with you. Like, we don't mind Dennis. Like Dennis's
No,
mom,
Dennis is a fun time ghost.
yeah. Dennis's mom was a demon, actually, not actually a demon. I don't want,
No, not
but
actual demon in Buffy
yeah.
lore, but she's a real asshole, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
she was really rude and really, and she was supposed to be like 50 something. And tell me why this woman looked like 84.
Oh, she looked real fucking old.
Yeah.
It's because in
So
the 90s, they would always make old people look like they were literally on the verge of death.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, we got Dennis. It is Cordy's like ghost boyfriend now. A,
Mhm.
a nice little roommate. That apartment is gorgeous. I'm very happy for Cordelia.
I am too, because honestly, give me that apartment all day, even if there is a ghost. Like, it's
Yeah.
so beautiful and it's way better than where she was living. She seems much happier. Of course, Sarah, you know my question is going to be, how do you think Cordelia stacks up as a roommate? Now that we've seen her living with
Boy.
Angel and what she gets up to,
Yeah.
some of the
The real question is, how did the peanut butter get into the bed?
Okay, this was unforgivable in my opinion. Like, listen, there are times when I've had a snack in bed. Sure.
Mhm.
I feel like the rule of thumb is nothing that's too crumbly because you don't want
Yeah.
crumbs.
Yeah. You
And
don't
like
want crumbs in your bed. That's terrible.
and peanut butter? Like how are you spilling peanut butter? How are you not noticing that you're spilling peanut butter? I have so many questions. Just why? Like, especially in someone else's bed?
Okay, so, like, was she eating, like, an apple with peanut butter? Was she eating the peanut butter out of the jar? Was she, like, did she smear it on? So, I think that she's messy. I think she's a messy
I think
girl.
she's definitely messy because we also hear that she leaves her, like, wet towels just, like, hanging around on his leather chairs,
Oh, yeah. Not
which
a
is a
good
big faux
roommate. Not a
pas.
good roommate, yeah.
No, no, I mean, I feel like with Cordelia, I could have seen it going either way, where either she is extremely clean and very particular about how she likes her stuff, or she's kind of a secret mess maker, which it turns out she is a secret mess maker.
Secret mess maker.
Yeah. So the other thing we found out in this Angel episode is Doyle has a little bit of a dark meth past. He owes people some money, so these demons come looking for him.
Who doesn't owe some people some money?
Yes.
Go on, yeah.
And Angel does help him out, but he is basically saying, like, listen, bud, you're eventually gonna have to tell me like a little bit more about you and like what's up with the porcupine of it all,
Mhm.
or the hedgehogness of it all, and like why you have these demons coming after you. But honestly, this kind of tracks with the character of Doyle, and like he looks like someone who would owe people money.
He looks like a poor.
Not that, he just looks like he's someone
Yeah.
who like gambles and like spends money he doesn't have.
Yeah, I track as well. It tracks for me.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't Cordelia. Well, no, Cordelia should probably not be giving out addresses. Never mind. But
What?
anyway,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for the demon that found
I was
him.
gonna say like I felt bad for Cordelia because he like was really like mad at her, but then again, like you should not be giving out addresses. I had a boss once that didn't let me give out her phone number. So
That's weird.
yeah, because
That's really weird.
she didn't want people reaching her.
Wow. So that's our Angel episode. We did get an email from Linda. And I love that Linda is now sending feedback solely about Angel. I think this is hilarious.
She's like, forget Buffy. I don't care
Yeah,
about
who
that.
cares? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jess and Sarah, I hope you enjoyed Room with a View a little more. It's one of my favorite episodes of Angel season 1. I love how it's Cordy-centric, along with giving us more glimpses into Doyle's life. The themes of atonement are coming more into focus, with Cordy feeling that karma is coming around and punishing her for being a mean girl in Sunnydale.
Do you believe in karma?
Generally speaking, I do think there is like a tendency of like, if you fuck over enough people, like something bad will happen to you.
Yeah. Do you
But,
feel like if you do something wrong, like, I don't know.
I don't know, because there's plenty of like really awful people in the world who like have never had anything bad happen to them because they just have so much money that they could make anything go away.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
If you personally did something bad, do you feel like something bad's going to happen to you?
I feel like I would feel enough guilt where that would be bad enough.
Yeah, I believe in karma. I do.
Yeah. I think like eventually there'll be comeuppance, right? Like I do believe that there is a very special place in hell where they use their worst torture devices for anyone who harms animals or children. Like I do think there is something like that, because if there isn't, that's real fucked up.
In hell.
I like to think that there is one. I don't know that I actually do believe it, but I'd prefer if there was one for really bad people, because I'd like them to get tortured.
Sure. Okay. Yes.
Anyway, to continue with Linda's email. Plus it's hinted that that Doyle has something in his past he's running from, he's punishing himself for, and doesn't want to face. It hurts to see Cordy doubting herself and feeling like she deserves bad things in life. Seeing her find her strength again, reclaiming her badassery, realizing she is the baddest bitch and takes shit from absolutely nobody is the best.
Yeah.
I love when she tells Polly Grip to get the fuck out. I'm not a sniffling, whiny little cry Buffy. I'm Cordelia Chase, the nastiest girl in Sunnydale history. I take crap from no one.
Why did she have to bring Buffy into this?
I mean, seriously, no one can stop talking about Buffy on this show, because they're like, hey, remember, this is where Cordy's from.
Yeah, Buffy was minding her own freaking business, and you're going to bring Buffy into this?
Yeah.
Like, poor Buffy. She is a little crybaby.
Also, apparently Linda is a huge Coil shipper, which is Doyle and Cordy. Because when they walk into the apartment and Cordy says, have you ever seen anything so beautiful? Then Doyle looks at Cordy and replies, no, never.
Oh,
so cute. And Linda also loves Dennis, because who doesn't?
Dennis is, I mean, like, Doyle's going to be starting to be jealous of Dennis pretty soon.
I mean, yeah, because Dennis is great. So thank you so much for your email, Linda. And if anybody else wants to send in an email, shitnightyspod@gmail.com or shitnightyspod.com. Sarah, do you want to hear what the next episode of Buffy is titled?
Yeah.
Season 4, episode 6, Wild at Heart. And for those of you with a good memory, couldn't be me, you'll remember way back last season, our good friend Hannah will be joining us for Wild at Heart, as she claimed it back then.
Yes,
so I'm very excited to talk to her about this.
I do recall this.
She's very excited for it. So can't wait to get all her thoughts on Wild at Heart. I have a feeling, based on the title, this is going to be an Oz episode.
Oh,
like I feel like we're going to be diving into the werewolf stuff, because like Wild at Heart, like it to me, unless someone's doing like some crazy partying, which I'm also game for.
It could be either or both. We'll see.
So that should be exciting next week. Anything else, Sarah? Anything else on Buffy, the world at large, oracles? You know.
Oh, the oracle.
More oracles. Oh. If I ever meet an oracle and they don't talk like that, I'm just not going to believe they know anything.
It's like, you're not legitimate. I know how you're supposed to talk.
Yeah. You're not supposed to talk like that.
You can't trick me.
All right, check out everything we have going on, shit90spod.com. Of course, we're still talking Felicity, and check everything out that Whirlwind podcast has going on. I'm loving the Everwood coverage specifically. So
Yeah.
if you're a
Well,
big fan of
actually,
these
no,
sort of shows.
I didn't watch my Patreon subscription to that.
You have to wait for the legitimate one to come out.
No, like I can. I just didn't get to it. I did
Yeah.
overhear some of Adam's takes from the room next door. He projects. He's a projector.
Sarah, I have a question for you. So this is going to be a crossover moment. So if you didn't listen to the season 1 episode 4 coverage, I think it was, of Everwood, feel free to. But Tom Palmer on this podcast said, famously, Adam and I are the same person.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you find this to be false or true?
I don't really think that you guys are the same person. No, like I think that I think that it's like kind of funny because like you and Adam both have like the personalities that you play on TV, and like maybe those people intersect, but like the real person that I am married to and the real person that I've been friends with for 5 years are two very different people. But
yeah, I think we're very passionate, and like if we have an opinion, we are very vocal and vehement about that opinion. And so that is where I understand the crossover, because that's true.
Yeah, and there's definitely like there's some like things that are like commonalities. I think like it also makes sense that like I really could not, like there's probably like very little for me to be super passionate about in this world, and like having you as a close friend and having him as my partner, like you can't have like two super passionate about everything people in one room. It just doesn't.
I married the apathetic one. Yeah, this all tracks. This all tracks.
Yeah. So I mean, there's things that I care about, but just like typically not. I don't know. Any other questions from Everwood that you have?
I am enjoying the podcast though, so everyone should go listen to it because it's a really fun time. And I do think there's some crossover. Like if you're a fan of like the shows that we cover, like Felicity and Buffy, I do think you might like Everwood. It's very like teen drama-y, like early aughts teen drama. So if I do think there's some crossover, give Everwood a shot because I think it's like a very interesting teen drama. I think it breaks the mold a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. The only thing I don't like is that it's like every single week we have to like cover like a big sweeping topic. Like, is God real? Is like IVF okay?
It's very religious in a way that I didn't remember.
Like, yeah. I don't know. It's just so funny. All right. Well, let's get out of here.
Yeah, go check out that podcast, and we'll be back next week with Wild at Heart. So until then, everyone, here endeth the lesson.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.